This is Stuart Cameron with a look at yesterday's rugby from the Borders, and one game dominated proceedings, the Scottish Cup semi-final clash at Netherdale between Gala and Melrose. Holders Gala were looking for their sixth straight win against their rivals. It was the second highest scoring game in history between the two clubs, and it took just 28 seconds for Melrose to take the lead when Joe Helps went in for a try in the corner, which he converted. But the lead would change hands no less than 8 times in an extraordinary match which eventually saw Melrose triumph by 34 points to 29. Melrose outscored Gala 4-2 in the try count with Bruce Colvin, Bruce Dick and Richard Ferguson, who went over for the winning score a minute from time, joining Joe Helps on the try score sheet. Helps also kicked 2 penalties and all 4 conversions for his personal tally of 19. Lee Miller, in his 99th game for Gala, also scored 19 points with 5 penalties and the 2 conversions of tries by George Graham and Craig Keddy. Well, it was a terrific advert for Borders Rugby, and Melrose will face Ayr in the Cup final at Murrayfield on April the 20th. That will be their 7th appearance in the final. Ayr beat Dundee 15-5 in their game at Mayfield. We hear first from Gala coach George Graham.
We as a team didn't play as well as what we did last week. I thought the boy Runciman was outstanding today. There's 7. I thought the amount of turnovers just absolutely strangled us at the breakdown, and that was because we never obviously dealt with him. So bitterly disappointed in that area. But our decision making a lot of times was very, very poor, and to be fair, thought they probably wanted it a wee bit more than what we did. And unfortunately, when you get in these situations, you can't have another team that wants it more than you, because invariably what happens is this, as you get beat.
Melrose skipper Graham Dodds.
We were a big week, we had a hard look at ourselves because we were really poor last week, and it was all about turning it around and having a bit more fire about us and a bit more want. And I think Gala, we talked about it through the week with Chick and John, and they looked like they wanted it a bit more last week, and that's the difference in a game of rugby. Forget skill levels. If you don't want it enough, you're not going to win the game, and I think we probably matched Gala in that department today. We wanted it just as much as them, and you get rewarded for that. It's good for the club, and it's for the whole club and the whole town as well. Gala experienced it last year, the bus parade on the Sunday around the town. There's no better feeling than that, and that's for everybody. That's for every supporter and everybody that coaches, management, everybody that comes and watches us. It's a day for the whole club.
Well, you can watch the highlights of this extraordinary game right now on Borders Rugby television at bordersrugby.net. Well, while all that was going on, Curry beat Heriots in their last game in the Premiership, which meant that Melrose's game against Aberdeen Grammar next Saturday could still be crucial. Things are still so tight in that league that a loss could put them in the playoff game against Hawick if other results don't go their way. Yet on the other hand, a bonus point win next week could put them in a top 4 position, which would qualify them for a British and Irish Cup place next season. I mentioned Hawick being in that playoff game at the end of next month, and that's because rivals Glasgow Hawks won automatic promotion back to the Premiership yesterday by beating Hillhead Jordan Hill 13-7. Turning now to the Scottish Shield semi-final, Gala YM came up short at Livingston, losing 27-22, ending a disappointing day for the town. Bill Poulsen was there.
The RBS National Shield semi-final was level at 15-all at half-time. An entertaining first half. A penalty by Craig Dodds for Gala YM after 8 minutes was soon cancelled out by one by Craig Boland for Livingston. The homestand half also added the extras after flanker Stephen Logan had scored the try in the corner, only for YM to make a swift response when prop Martin Christie scored from close range as the quarter ended. 12 minutes later, Christie scored again from close in, but this time under the post for Craig Dodds to convert, after previously hitting the upright from the touchline. Livy drew level with the final move of the half when centre Ross Newell strode into the left corner for a try. The second half remained competitive, but Gala YM handicapped themselves by playing 20 minutes of it with a player in the sin bin. Craig Boland kicked 4 penalties for Livingston, although YM scored an injury-time try through flanker Scott Chapman, converted from the right touchline by Gregor Mean. Final score at Ammon Park, Livingston 27, Gala YM 22.
In other games, the Border Cup reached its conclusion with Hawick winning 57-29 at Peebles. There were 14 tries in that match, 9 of them going to the Greens, John Coots and Keith Davis scoring a brace each, with the others credited to Neil McComb, Graham Hogg, Gary Johnston, Scott McLeod and Sean Muir. Neil Rennick converted 6 of them. Hoyt YM travelled to Musselburgh with 11 players for their Championship B match, but borrowed a few to make up the numbers and even scored a try from Michael Graham converted by Gregor Welsh. The game ended 58-7. 5 out of the 6 Borders teams who had games in the East League yesterday won, including all 3 First Division sides. Berwick beat North Berwick 28-14, Langham defeated Dunbar 38-26 and Duns won at RHC 23-22. With still a few games left to play, those wins will help their fight against relegation. In Division 2, Hoytlandine won 36-8 at Ross High and Earlston smashed Lismore 69-12, but in Division 3, Walkerburn went down at home to Leith 79-13. Next week, believe it or not, it's the start of the Sevens season, with Gala kicking off the 10-tournament series with their own sports, which start at 3:30. It's a pool system with 4 pools of 3 teams. Melrose, as I mentioned, will be playing their final league game against Aberdeen Grammar in the Premiership at the Greenyards, while Selkirk will be playing their final game of the season in the National League on Friday night against Stuart's Melville. For all the latest news, results, fixtures, video, audio and rankings, go to bordersrugby.net.
Stark, Main & Co. are a UK award-winning firm of chartered tax advisors and accountants committed to offering high-quality tax and business advisory services. With a committed and professional team, we have the focus and drive to help you change the numbers which are important to you. We are proud of the difference we can make together.